The smell of burnt toast mingles with the acrid scent of my tears. As I scrape the blackened bread into the trash, my hands won't stop trembling. They haven't stopped since last night when Marcus sat across from me at this very kitchen table and asked for an open marriage. An open marriage. The words still taste like poison on my tongue. 3 years of devotion, of building a life together in our modest Brooklyn apartment, of believing in forever, reduced to those 3 clinical words. He'd said it so casually, fork halfway to his mouth, as if he were asking me to pass the salt instead of permission to sleep with other women. "It's not about you, Emma," he'd said, his voice patronizingly gentle. "I just think we'd both benefit from exploring our options. We're still young. Don't you want to experience more of life?" I'd stared at him, at this man I barely recognized anymore, and felt something inside me crack clean through. Now, in the harsh morning light filtering through our kitchen window, I feel hollowed out, invisible. Like I could fade into the peeling wallpaper, and no one would notice I was gone. The apartment feels smaller today, suffocating, filled with the ghost of the life I thought I had. My phone buzzes on the counter, a text from my sister Lily, asking if I'm still coming to help with the catering gig tonight. I'd forgotten all about it. She runs a small catering company, and I help out sometimes to earn extra money. Marcus's salary as a mid-level marketing manager barely covers our expenses, and my freelance graphic design work is sporadic at best. "Yes," I type back, my fingers mechanical. "What time?" 6 p.m. "Fancy event at the Meridian. Wear all black." "You're a lifesaver, Em." The Meridian. One of Manhattan's most exclusive private clubs, the kind of place I'd never step foot in if not for carrying trays of champagne and canapes. The kind of place where people like Marcus and I don't belong, except to serve the people who do. I look down at my reflection in the darkened screen of my phone. Dull brown eyes stare back at me, underscored by shadows that makeup can't quite hide. My dark hair hangs limp around my shoulders. 26 years old, and I already look defeated. Marcus is still asleep in our bedroom, or pretending to be. He has the day off, but I know he's avoiding me. Coward. Part of me wants to storm in there and demand answers, demand to know when I stopped being enough. But the larger part, the part that's been slowly learning to make itself smaller over 3 years of marriage, just wants to disappear. I grab my jacket and leave. The subway ride into Manhattan is a blur of strangers and stale air. I resurface in Midtown, the afternoon stretching before me like a wasteland. I can't go home, can't face that apartment and all its broken promises, so I walk. Hours dissolve into the rhythm of my footsteps on concrete. I drift through Central Park, past couples holding hands, past families laughing, past everything I thought I'd have by now. The spring air should feel refreshing, but it just makes my chest ache. By the time I arrive at the Meridian at 6, my feet are blistering and my soul feels scraped raw. Lily is already there, her short blonde hair pulled back in a neat bun, directing the team with the efficiency of a general commanding troops. She takes one look at my face and pulls me aside. "What happened?" "Nothing. I'm fine." "Emma, please, Lily. Not now." My voice cracks, betraying me. "I just need to work. I need to not think." She studies me for a long moment, then squeezes my hand. "Okay, but we're talking after this. Come on." They're about to open the doors. The Meridian is even more opulent than I imagined. Crystal chandeliers cast prismatic light across marble floors. The walls are paneled in dark wood that probably cost more than my annual income. Everything gleams with the kind of wealth that whispers rather than shouts. We're serving a private event in the main ballroom, some kind of business dinner, according to Lily. The guests begin arriving at 7, and they're exactly what I expected. Men in suits that cost thousands, women dripping in diamonds, everyone radiating the casual confidence that comes from never having to check their bank account before buying groceries. I fade into the background, becoming invisible again as I circulate with a tray of champagne. It's almost comfortable, this invisibility, safer than being seen. The evening progresses in a haze of forced smiles and murmured, "Excuse me's." I'm refilling my tray at the service station when I feel it. A shift in the atmosphere, like the air pressure has suddenly changed. The casual chatter around me dims slightly, and I glance up. He enters through the main doors flanked by 2 men in dark suits, security, unmistakably. But it's not them that makes my breath catch. He's young, maybe early 30s, and beautiful in a way that feels almost dangerous. dark hair swept back from a face of sharp angles and harder edges. He wears a black suit that fits like it was painted on, and even from across the room, I can sense the authority that radiates from him like heat. Everyone else can sense it too. The crowd doesn't part exactly, but people adjust, creating space for him without consciously realizing they're doing it. He moves through the room with the confidence of someone who's never had to ask for anything. He simply takes, and the world rearranges itself accordingly. I should look away. Return to my tray, to my safe invisibility, but I can't. He's speaking with an older man near the bar, his posture relaxed but alert. One of his security detail stands 3 feet behind him, eyes constantly scanning. The other has positioned himself near the exit. These aren't regular bodyguards. There's something military about their bearing, something that suggests real danger lurks beneath the civilized veneer of this event. "That's Dante Caruso," Lily whispers, suddenly beside me. Oh my God, I didn't know he'd be here. The name means nothing to me, but the way she says it, hushed, almost reverent, suggests it should. Who is he? Lily gives me a look that suggests I've been living under a rock. Seriously? He runs half the business on the East Coast. And by business, I mean... She makes a vague gesture that could mean anything. His family is old money, but the kind of old money that came from very questionable sources. They're basically New York royalty. If royalty ran protection rackets and owned half the politicians in the city, my stomach tightens. Mafia. She's talking about the Mafia. He's dangerous, Em. Like seriously dangerous. There are rumors about people who crossed his family. They just disappear. But God, he's gorgeous, isn't he? I should feel afraid. Repulsed. I should grab my tray and move to the other side of the room. Instead, I find myself watching him with a fascination I can't quite name. There's something magnetic about the way he commands space, the subtle deference everyone shows him without him having to demand it. He's power personified, and after a lifetime of making myself smaller, of disappearing into Marcus's shadow, there's something almost hypnotic about witnessing that kind of absolute certainty. He laughs at something the older man says, and the sound carries across the room, low, genuine, surprisingly warm. It transforms his face for just a moment, softening those harsh lines into something almost approachable. That's when his eyes find mine. The connection is electric, instantaneous. Across the expanse of the ballroom, through the crowd of Manhattan's elite, Dante Caruso looks directly at me. Not through me, the way people usually do. At me, into me. I freeze, champagne flutes trembling on my tray. His expression doesn't change, but something flickers in those dark eyes. Curiosity, perhaps, or recognition of something I can't name. The moment stretches, elastic and charged, until the older man says something that draws his attention back. I release a breath I didn't know I was holding. "Earth to Emma," Lily hisses. "You're staring. Stop staring at Dante Caruso. That's like staring at the sun. You'll get burned." She's right. I know she's right. I tear my gaze away and force my feet to move, to carry me and my tray of champagne back into the safety of invisibility. But I can still feel the weight of his gaze on my skin, like a brand. The rest of the evening passes in a blur. I keep to the edges of the room, refilling glasses and collecting empty plates, avoiding even the possibility of crossing paths with him again. My heart won't stop racing, and I hate that I can't tell if it's fear or something else entirely. It's nearly 10 when I'm heading back to the kitchen with a tray of empty glasses. The hallway is quieter here, away from the main event. My feet ache, my back aches, and my mind keeps drifting back to Marcus and his casual destruction of our marriage. I'm not paying attention. That's my first mistake. I don't see the server coming from the opposite direction until it's too late. We collide at the intersection of 2 hallways, and suddenly the world is exploding in a cascade of crystal and champagne. Glass shatters against marble with a sound like breaking stars. Gold liquid spreads across the floor in a growing pool, and I'm falling, my foot catching on the edge of the spill, my body tilting inevitably toward the ground and all that broken glass. Strong hands catch me. The grip is firm, steadying, wrapping around my waist and pulling me back from the fall. For a moment I'm suspended in time, held against a solid chest, breathing in a scent that's all expensive cologne and something darker, more primal underneath. Then I'm being set carefully on my feet, those hands lingering just a moment longer than necessary before releasing me. I turn, an apology already forming on my lips. The words die in my throat. Dante Caruso stands less than a foot away, his dark eyes fixed on my face with an intensity that makes my knees weak. Up close, he's even more devastating. All sharp cheekbones and a jaw that could cut glass, with a mouth that's currently curved into the barest hint of a smile. "Careful," he says, his voice low and rough like smoke. "You could have hurt yourself. I can't speak. Can't breathe. Can't do anything but stare up at him like an idiot while my heart tries to hammer its way out of my chest." One of his security guards appears at his elbow. "Sir, we should give us a moment," Dante says, not taking his eyes off me. The guard disappears as if he'd never existed. "I'm sorry," I finally manage, my voice embarrassingly breathless. "I wasn't watching where I was going. I'm so sorry. Are you hurt?" He's already scanning me, checking for injuries with a thoroughness that feels almost clinical. Except there's nothing clinical about the way his gaze lingers on my face, my throat, the rapid pulse that must be visibly racing beneath my skin. "No, I'm fine. You caught me. Thank you." The hallway feels too small suddenly, the air too thin. Behind us, I can hear the other server apologizing profusely, someone else calling for maintenance to clean up the glass. But it all seems very far away, muted, like we exist in a bubble separate from the rest of the world. Dante reaches out, and I freeze as his fingers brush my cheek, the barest whisper of contact. When he pulls back, there's a small shard of glass on his fingertip. "You're bleeding." I touch my face, and my fingers come away with a tiny smear of blood. I hadn't even felt it. "It's nothing," I say quickly. "Really, I should get back to work. Thank you again for... What's your name?" The question stops me mid-step. I shouldn't answer. Every instinct screams at me to apologize again and disappear back into the kitchen, back into my safe, invisible existence. But I'm so tired of being invisible. "Emma," I hear myself say. "Emma Torres." He repeats it slowly, like he's tasting each syllable. "Emma." Something in the way he says my name makes my stomach flip. "I'm Dante." "I know." The words escape before I can stop them, and I immediately want to sink through the floor. I heard someone mention... "I'm sorry, that sounded... It's fine." He's definitely smiling now, a real smile that transforms his entire face. "Do you work for the catering company?" "Sometimes. My sister owns it. I just help out occasionally." "And what do you do when you're not helping your sister?" This is surreal. Dante Caruso, the Dante Caruso, if Lily's reaction was any indication, is standing in a hallway making small talk with me like we're at a coffee shop instead of in one of the most exclusive clubs in Manhattan. Like he isn't surrounded by security. Like I'm not wearing a server's uniform with champagne splashed on my shoes. "Graphic design," I answer, because apparently my mouth has disconnected from my brain. "Freelance, mostly. It's not very exciting." I doubt that. His eyes haven't left mine, and the intensity of his focus is overwhelming. I feel like he can see everything, every broken piece, every insecurity, every secret I've ever kept. "You're too interesting to be unexciting, Emma Torres." Heat floods my cheeks. No one has ever looked at me the way he's looking at me now, like I'm the only person in the entire building, in the entire city. Like I matter. It's intoxicating and terrifying in equal measure. "Mr. Caruso." One of his guards materializes again, his tone apologetic but firm. "Your call." Dante's jaw tightens briefly, frustration, quickly masked. "Right." He looks back at me, and for a moment I think that's it, that this strange encounter is over, and I'll never see him again. Then he reaches into his jacket and produces a business card. Not a regular business card, this one is heavy cardstock, matte black with silver lettering. He produces a pen from somewhere, and writes something on the back before offering it to me. "My private number," he says as I take it with trembling fingers. "Call me if you need anything at all." Before I can formulate a response, he's gone, swept away by his security detail and back into the ballroom, leaving me standing alone in the hallway holding a business card that feels like it's burning a hole through my palm. I flip it over. On the front, Caruso Enterprises with a Manhattan address. On the back, in bold, decisive handwriting, a phone number and a single word. Soon. I don't sleep that night. I lie beside Marcus in our bed, though calling it ours feels like a lie now, and stare at the ceiling while he snores softly, oblivious to the fact that his wife's entire world has tilted on its axis. The business card sits in my purse on the nightstand, and I swear I can feel it radiating heat through the leather, calling to me like a siren song, "Call me if you need anything." The words replay in my mind on an endless loop, accompanied by the memory of those dark eyes, that devastating smile, the way his hands had felt wrapped around my waist. Strong, certain, safe. When did Marcus last make me feel safe? The question surfaces unbidden, and I squeeze my eyes shut against the sting of tears. This is insane. I barely know Dante Caruso. What I do know, what Lily told me, should be enough to make me throw that card in the trash and forget this ever happened. But I don't want to forget. At some point during the endless night, Marcus shifts and his arm drapes across my waist. A gesture that once would have comforted me but now feels suffocating. I slip out from under it and pad quietly to the bathroom, closing the door before turning on the light. The face in the mirror looks haunted. The small cut on my cheek has scabbed over, barely visible. But I touch it anyway, and remember the gentleness in Dante's voice. "You're bleeding." Marcus hasn't noticed I'm hurt, hasn't asked about my night. When I came home at midnight, he'd already been asleep, or pretending to be. I grip the edge of the sink and force myself to breathe, to think clearly. An open marriage. That's what Marcus wants. Freedom to explore, to experience more of life. The thought makes me nauseous, but beneath the nausea is something else. Something that feels uncomfortably like relief. If Marcus wants freedom, then I have it too. The realization should feel empowering. Instead, it just feels sad. Morning comes gray and oppressive. Marcus emerges from the bedroom at 9, already dressed for a Saturday brunch with his colleagues from work. He kisses my forehead absently, the gesture so routine it's meaningless. "I'll be back around 3, he says, pouring coffee into a travel mug. "We should probably talk later about the arrangement." The arrangement. As if our marriage is a business deal to be negotiated. "Sure," I hear myself say. "Have fun." He leaves, and the apartment feels bigger without him in it, emptier. I should be upset, should be fighting for my marriage, should be doing something other than retrieving that business card from my purse and staring at it like it holds all the answers to questions I'm afraid to ask. Soon. My fingers dial the number before my brain can override the decision. It rings once. Twice. On the third ring, I nearly hang up. This is crazy. What am I even doing? He probably doesn't remember me. Emma. His voice is even more devastating over the phone, rough and warm and certain. Not a question. A statement. "How did you know it was me? I've been waiting for your call." I can hear the smile in his voice. "Are you all right?" The question catches me off guard. When was the last time someone asked if I was all right and actually wanted to know the answer? "I'm fine." I lie automatically. "No, you're not. It's not accusatory, just factual." "Where are you?" "Home. Brooklyn. Have you eaten?" What? "Breakfast, Emma. Have you had breakfast?" I look at the congealed oatmeal I'd attempted to make an hour ago, now cold and unappetizing in its bowl. Not really. "There's a cafe called Rosemary's in the West Village. Meet me there in an hour." It's not a request, not exactly. But somehow it doesn't feel like an order either. It feels like an inevitability. Like this moment was always going to happen, and we're both just playing our parts. "Dante, I don't think—" "1 hour, Emma. I'll be waiting." The line goes dead. I should feel manipulated, pushed into something I'm not ready for. Instead, I feel alive for the first time in months, electricity crackling through my veins as I race to the shower. Rosemary's is tucked away on a quiet street in the West Village, the kind of place that looks casual, but whispers money in every detail, from the fresh flowers on each table to the soft jazz playing overhead. I arrive exactly on time, my heart hammering against my ribs, wearing the nicest thing I own that isn't server blacks, a simple navy dress that Lily bought me last Christmas. Dante is already there, seated at a corner table with sightlines to both entrances. He's dressed more casually than last night. Dark jeans and a black Henley that somehow makes him look even more dangerous. But the security guard positioned near the door reminds me exactly who and what he is. He stands when he sees me, and the gesture is so old-fashioned, so unexpected, that I falter mid-step. "You came," he says, pulling out my chair. "You didn't really give me a choice." "You always have a choice, Emma." His eyes lock on mine as I sit, and the intensity nearly steals my breath. "You could have blocked my number, could have stayed home, but you're here." He's right, and we both know it. I'm here because some reckless part of me wants to be. Consequences be damned. A waiter appears immediately, the kind of instant service that speaks to either regular patronage or significant influence. Dante orders coffee and something called the Mediterranean omelet without looking at the menu. When the waiter turns to me expectantly, I panic and just nod. "Same for me, please." The waiter disappears, and suddenly it's just us and the weight of everything unspoken hanging in the air between us. "How's your cheek?" Dante asks. My hand automatically rises to touch the small cut. "Fine. It was barely anything. You scared me last night, watching you fall." Something flickers across his face, an emotion I can't quite read. "I'm glad I was there." "Me too," I admit quietly. "Thank you." Again. "Stop thanking me." His tone is gentle but firm. "Tell me about yourself instead. The real you, not the polite server version." Where do I even begin? The words stick in my throat, years of making myself smaller suddenly impossible to articulate. But Dante waits with a patience that feels infinite, those dark eyes encouraging without demanding. "I'm not very interesting," I start, then stop when he shakes his head. "I've already told you that's not true." "Try again." The coffee arrives, buying me a moment. I wrap my hands around the warm mug and force myself to be honest. I'm 26. I've been married for 3 years to a man who asked me 2 days ago for an open marriage. I do freelance graphic design when I can get work, which isn't often enough, so I help my sister cater events to make ends meet. I live in a tiny apartment in Brooklyn that I hate, and I spend most of my time feeling invisible. And the confession spills out before I can stop it, and I immediately want to take it back. Too much, too honest. I've known this man for less than 24 hours, and I'm dumping my pathetic life story on him like he's a fool. I look up, startled. Dante's expression has hardened, his jaw tight with something that looks like anger. "Your husband. He's a fool if he doesn't see what he has." Heat floods my face. "You don't know me." "I know enough." He leans forward, and the movement brings him close enough that I can smell his cologne again. Cedar and something darker, more dangerous. "I know you're stronger than you think you are. I know you light up a room just by walking into it, even when you're trying to disappear. I know that any man who would risk losing you is either blind or stupid." My throat feels tight. "Why are you doing this? Being kind to you? Interested in me?" The words come out barely above a whisper. "You could have anyone. You're..." I gesture vaguely at him, at the security guard, at everything he represents, and I'm nobody. The change in him is instantaneous. The warmth drains from his expression, replaced by something cold and sharp. He reaches across the table and takes my hand, his grip firm enough to anchor me but gentle enough that I know I could pull away if I wanted to. I don't want to. "Listen to me very carefully, Emma." His voice is low, intense. "You are not nobody. I don't know who made you believe that, but they were wrong. Do you understand?" I nod, not trusting my voice. "Say it." "I'm not nobody." Again. "I'm not nobody." Stronger this time, the words feeling strange and powerful on my tongue. Good. He releases my hand, but his eyes don't leave mine. "Now eat. You're too thin." The food arrives, and it's delicious. The best omelet I've ever tasted, though I barely register the flavors. I'm too aware of Dante watching me, of the way his presence seems to fill the entire space, of how different this feels from any meal I've ever shared with Marcus. "Tell me about your work," he says. "Your design work." So I do. Hesitantly at first, Then with growing confidence as he asks intelligent questions, actually listening to my answers instead of just waiting for his turn to talk. He wants to know about my process, my favorite projects, what drew me to design in the first place. By the time our plates are empty, I've talked more about myself in 1 hour than I have in the past year of my marriage. I have a proposition for you, Dante says, signaling for the check. The waiter brings it immediately, and I notice Dante doesn't even look at the total before placing a black credit card on top. What kind of proposition? My company is rebranding one of our acquisitions, a hotel chain. We need fresh designs for everything from the logo to the room keys. I'd like to hire you. I stare at him. You don't even know if I'm any good. Then show me. Send me your portfolio tonight. He produces another business card, this one with an email address. If it's as good as I think it will be, the job is yours. Fair? It's more than fair. It's an opportunity that could change everything, the kind of project that could finally get my career off the ground. But I can't shake the feeling that there's more to this offer than professional interest. Why? I ask. And please don't tell me it's just because you think I'm talented. You barely know my work. He's quiet for a long moment, studying me with those penetrating eyes. When he speaks, his voice is serious. Because I want to see you again, Emma. And I'm selfish enough to create opportunities to make that happen. He pauses. But I'm also pragmatic enough to know that you actually are talented. And I do actually need a designer. So yes, there's personal interest. But I wouldn't risk one of my business ventures just to spend time with a beautiful woman. The job is real. Whether you take it, and whether you want to see me again, is entirely up to you. The honesty is disarming. I should say no. Should thank him politely, and walk away from this dangerous man with his dangerous offer, and his dangerous eyes that see too much. I'll send you my portfolio tonight, I hear myself say. His smile is like the sun breaking through clouds. Good. We leave the cafe together, stepping out into a perfect spring afternoon. The security guard follows at a discreet distance as Dante walks me toward the subway station. I can get home by myself, I say, though part of me doesn't want this to end. I know you can. He stops at the corner, turning to face me. But humor me. It's not safe. He doesn't finish the sentence. His eyes have fixed on something over my shoulder, and his entire demeanor shifts in an instant. The warmth vanishes, replaced by something cold and lethal. I turn to follow his gaze. Marcus is across the street, frozen mid-step outside a wine bar. He's not alone. There's a woman with him, young and blonde and beautiful, her hand in his. The world tilts. Of course. Of course, this is why he wanted an open marriage. He'd already found someone else. The request wasn't about exploring or experiencing life. It was about getting permission to continue doing what he was already doing without the guilt. I watch as Marcus's eyes widen in recognition, as the woman tugs on his hand asking him something, as he makes a decision and turns away, disappearing with her into the wine bar like I don't exist. Like I never existed. Something inside me breaks cleanly, finally, and the strangest part is how much it doesn't hurt. I feel nothing, just empty. Emma. Dante's voice is gentle, but when I look at him, there's murder in his eyes. Was that my husband? Yes. My voice sounds strange, distant, and I'm guessing that's the reason for the open marriage. Dante's jaw clenches. What's his name? Why? Because I'm going to kill him. He says it so matter-of-factly that it takes a moment for the words to register. When they do, I should be alarmed. Should laugh it off as an exaggeration. But I look at Dante's face, at the cold fury there, the absolute certainty. And I believe him. Marcus Torres, I say. And part of me hates how good it feels to say his name like that. Like a target. Dante pulls out his phone and makes a call. Rapid-fire Italian that I don't understand. When he ends it, he looks at me with an expression that's both tender and terrifying. You're coming with me. What? You're not going back to that apartment. Not today. It's not a request. My driver is 2 minutes away. We're going somewhere you can breathe, and then you're going to tell me everything. I should argue. Should insist I'm fine, that I can handle this myself. But the truth is, I don't want to handle it myself. I don't want to be strong or independent or any of the things I'm supposed to be. I just want to stop feeling invisible. Okay, I whisper. A black SUV pulls up to the curb. Expensive, with tinted windows that probably cost more than my car. The same security guard from the cafe opens the door, and Dante guides me inside with a hand on the small of my back. The interior is cream leather and luxury. Dante slides in beside me, and suddenly the space feels intimate despite its size. The door closes, cocooning us in silence as the vehicle pulls smoothly into traffic. Where are we going? I ask. Dante takes my hand, threading his fingers through mine in a gesture that feels both possessive and protective. Somewhere safe, he says. Somewhere he can never hurt you again. And God help me, I believe him. The SUV glides through Manhattan with the kind of smooth authority that comes from both expert driving and the certainty that other cars will move out of the way. Dante hasn't released my hand, his thumb tracing absent patterns across my knuckles in a gesture that should feel presumptuous, but instead feels grounding. Like I might float away if he lets go. We don't speak. The silence isn't uncomfortable. It's charged, weighted with everything that's happened in the last hour. My mind keeps replaying the image of Marcus with that woman, her hand in his, the casual intimacy of it. How long has it been going on? Weeks? Months? Has he been lying beside me every night planning his escape, waiting for the right moment to ask permission for something he was already doing? The hollow feeling in my chest expands. We're here, Dante says softly as the SUV turns into an underground parking garage. Not just any garage. The entrance requires a security card, and there's a guard station with actual armed guards who nod respectfully as we pass. The vehicle stops in a private bay, and Dante's security guard opens the door. We step out into a space that's more like a luxury showroom than a parking garage. Pristine concrete, perfect lighting, and a collection of vehicles that probably cost more than most people's houses. Ferrari, Bentley, something low and predatory that I don't even recognize. This way. Dante guides me toward a private elevator, his hand moving from mine to the small of my back. The touch burns through the fabric of my dress. The elevator is all mirrors and soft lighting. I catch sight of my reflection and barely recognize myself, cheeks flushed, eyes too bright, looking fragile and reckless in equal measure. Dante stands slightly behind me, and in the mirror our eyes meet. The intensity in his gaze makes my breath catch. "What are you thinking?" he asks. That I don't know what I'm doing here, honest. Too honest. That I should probably go home and deal with my life instead of running away with a man I barely know, and yet you're here anyway. And yet I'm here anyway, I echo. The elevator doors open directly into a penthouse apartment, and I step out into a space that steals what's left of my breath. Floor-to-ceiling windows showcase a panoramic view of Central Park and the Manhattan skyline. The afternoon sun streams in, illuminating a living room that's all clean lines and expensive taste. Leather furniture, abstract art, shelves lined with books that actually look read. "This is your home?" I ask, moving toward the windows like a moth to flame. "One of them." Dante sheds his jacket, draping it over a chair. Underneath, the black Henley clings to shoulders that suggest he does more than sit behind a desk. "I have properties in the city, upstate, overseas. But this is where I stay most often. Most often. As if having multiple homes is the most natural thing in the world." I press my palm against the glass, looking down at the city spread below us. From up here, everything looks small, manageable. My problems feel distant, like they belong to someone else. "Wine?" Dante appears beside me with 2 glasses of red, offering one. "Or something stronger." "Wine is good." I take it, grateful for something to do with my hands. He doesn't push me to talk, doesn't demand explanations or emotional confessions. Instead, he simply stands beside me, looking out at the view, giving me space to breathe while somehow making me feel less alone than I have in years. 3 years, I finally say, my voice barely above a whisper. I gave him 3 years. I supported him through his career changes, his insecurities, his bad days. I made myself smaller so he could feel bigger. And the whole time, he was... I can't finish the sentence. Cheating. Dante supplies, his voice hard. The word you're looking for is cheating. He asked for an open marriage first. Even as I say it, I recognize how pathetic it sounds, like that makes it better somehow. Like permission after the fact absolves him. Dante turns to face me fully, setting his wineglass on a nearby table. Emma, look at me. I do. And the fury in his eyes is almost frightening in its intensity. Your husband is a coward and a fool. What he did, what he's doing, has nothing to do with you and everything to do with his own inadequacy. Do you understand that? Intellectually, maybe, but it doesn't feel that way. My throat tightens. It feels like I wasn't enough. Like if I had been prettier, or more interesting, or... Stop. The command in his voice makes me fall silent. You want to know what I see when I look at you? I'm not sure I do, but I nod anyway. Dante steps closer, close enough that I can feel the heat radiating from him. His hand comes up to cup my face, thumb brushing across my cheekbone with devastating gentleness. I see a woman who's been systematically convinced she's invisible when she's actually radiant. I see strength that's been mistaken for weakness. I see someone who deserves to be cherished, protected, worshipped. And instead she's been taken for granted by a man who doesn't deserve to breathe the same air as her. My heart is hammering so hard I'm certain he can hear it. You don't know me well enough to say that. Don't I? His eyes search mine. I knew from the moment I saw you last night that you were extraordinary. I watched you move through that ballroom like you were apologizing for existing. And all I could think was that someone had broken something beautiful and convinced you that you were the one who was broken. Tears burn behind my eyes. Dante, I wanted to follow you into that kitchen. I wanted to ask your name, to hear your voice, to find out everything about you, and then you literally fell into my arms and I knew. His thumb traces my bottom lip, and I forget how to breathe. I knew you were mine to protect. The possessiveness in those words should alarm me, should send me running. Instead, they ignite something deep in my chest, something that's been dormant for so long I'd forgotten it existed. I'm married, I whisper, even as I lean into his touch. For now. His voice is dark velvet, dangerous promise. But that can be fixed. What are you saying? I'm saying that if you want out of your marriage, I can make it happen. Quietly, quickly. With enough money that you'll never have to worry about anything again. His other hand finds my waist, anchoring me. I'm saying that I want you, Emma. And I'm not a man who denies himself what he wants. This is crazy. This is moving too fast. This is everything I should be running from. A dangerous man with dangerous connections offering dangerous solutions to my problems. But I'm so tired of being careful. So tired of shrinking myself. So tired of being invisible. And what do you want from me in return? My voice is steadier than I feel. Everything. The word is a caress and a threat. Your time, your trust, your presence in my life. I want to give you everything you've been denied. Safety, security, the freedom to be exactly who you are without apology. He pauses, his eyes darkening. And I want you in my bed, Emma. I won't lie about that. I want to show you what it feels like to be desired, to be worshipped the way you deserve. Heat floods through me, pooling low in my belly. No one has ever spoken to me like this. With such raw honesty, such blatant hunger. Marcus's desire for me had always been tepid, obligatory. This is something else entirely. I don't understand, I breathe. Why me? You could have anyone. I don't want anyone. His forehead touches mine, and the intimacy of it is overwhelming. I want you. From the moment I saw you, Emma, and I always get what I want. The kiss happens inevitably, like gravity pulling us together. His mouth claims mine with a hunger that makes my knees buckle, and his arms tighten around me, holding me up, holding me together. I've been kissed before, but never like this. Never with such consuming intensity, such absolute possession. I should push him away, should remember that I'm still technically married, that this is all happening too fast, that I don't know this man beyond his dangerous reputation and devastating eyes. But when Dante kisses me, I don't feel invisible. I feel alive. He breaks away first, breathing hard, his control visibly fraying at the edges. Emma, We need to slow down. Why? The word escapes before I can stop it, surprising us both. Because I'm trying to be honorable here. His laugh is rough, pained. And it's taking every ounce of self-control I possess not to carry you into my bedroom right now and make you forget your own name. The image his words conjure makes my entire body flush with heat. Maybe I want to forget. Not like this. He steps back, putting necessary distance between us, running a hand through his hair in frustration. Not while you're hurting and vulnerable. Not while you're technically still his wife. The possessive fury that crosses his face at those last words is almost frightening. When I take you to bed, Emma, and make no mistake I will, it will be because you're mine completely. No legal ties to another man. No question of whether you want this, whether you want me. The certainty in his voice sends shivers down my spine. Not if. When. My phone buzzes in my purse, shattering the moment. I pull it out with shaking hands. 3 missed calls from Marcus, 5 text messages. Where are you? Emma, answer your phone. We need to talk. I saw you in the village. Who was that man? Answer me. The final text is from 10 minutes ago, and the capitals speak to an anger he has no right to feel. I stare at the screen, and something inside me shifts. Hardens. He saw us, I say, showing Dante the phone. And now he's demanding answers. Dante reads the messages, his expression going cold. Give me your phone. What? Why? Because I'm going to handle this. At my hesitation, he adds, trust me, Emma. Let me protect you. There's that word again. Protect. As if I'm something precious, something worth defending. The novelty of it makes my chest ache. I hand him the phone. Dante's fingers fly across the screen, typing out a response I can't see. When he's done, he shows it to me before hitting send. I'm done. I'll be back tomorrow for my things. Don't contact me again tonight. My breath catches. Dante, that's exactly what he deserves. He sends the message before I can protest. You're staying here tonight. My guest room is yours. Tomorrow we'll go to your apartment with my security and collect your belongings. You'll never have to face him alone again. You can't just... I can't just... Yes, you can. He cups my face again, forcing me to meet his eyes. You can walk away from a man who doesn't value you. You can choose yourself for once. You can let me help you. Tears finally spill over, running hot down my cheeks. Why are you doing this? Because someone should have done it a long time ago. He wipes away my tears with his thumbs, his touch unbearably gentle. Because you deserve better, and because I'm selfish enough to want to be the one who gives it to you. My phone buzzes again, Marcus calling. Dante silences it without looking and sets it face down on a table. He doesn't get to upset you anymore, he says firmly. Not while you're under my protection. Under my protection. The phrase should feel suffocating, controlling. Instead, it feels like the first full breath I've taken in years. I don't know how to do this, I admit. How to just leave. You don't have to know. That's what I'm here for. He takes my hand, threading our fingers together again. Come on. Let me show you where you'll sleep tonight. Then we'll order dinner, and you can tell me everything, or nothing. Whatever you need. He leads me through the penthouse to a guest room that's larger than my entire apartment. The bed is massive, covered in what looks like Egyptian cotton. There's an ensuite bathroom with a tub that could fit 3 people and a shower with more jets than I can count. There are clothes in the closet that should fit, Dante says. I keep things here for, well, they're clean, and yours if you want them. Toiletries in the bathroom. Whatever you need, just ask. Dante. I turn to face him, overwhelmed by everything. I don't know how to thank you. Then don't. He tucks a strand of hair behind my ear, his knuckles grazing my cheek. Just stay. Be here. Let me take care of you. After he leaves, closing the door softly behind him, I sink onto the edge of the bed and let myself cry. Not for Marcus, not for my failed marriage, but for all the years I spent believing I deserved less than this. Less than being seen, being valued, being fought for. My phone buzzes one more time, and I force myself to look. Marcus. Fine. But we're talking tomorrow. This is insane, Emma. You're being insane. I turn the phone off and set it aside. For the first time in 3 years, I don't care what Marcus thinks. For the first time in my life, I'm choosing myself. And somehow, impossibly, that choice looks like a dangerous man with gentle hands and eyes that promise both protection and possession. Tomorrow, I'll figure out what that means. Tonight, I'm just going to breathe. I wake to the smell of coffee and the disorienting realization that I'm not in my own bed. For a moment, panic flares. Where am I? What happened? Before memory floods back, Dante, the penthouse, Marcus and the blonde woman, the decision to stay. Sunlight streams through floor-to-ceiling windows I forgot to cover last night, painting the unfamiliar room in shades of gold. I'm wearing one of the shirts I found in the closet, a men's dress shirt in soft white cotton that falls to mid-thigh and smells faintly of cedar and expensive detergent. My dress from yesterday hangs over a chair where I left it, and for a moment I just stare at it, at the physical evidence of the person I was 24 hours ago. She feels like a stranger now. A soft knock at the door makes me sit up. "Emma, are you awake?" Dante's voice, rough with morning, does something dangerous to my pulse. "Yes," I call out, suddenly conscious of my bare legs, my sleep-mussed hair, the intimacy of wearing his shirt. "Come in." The door opens, and he enters carrying a tray. Coffee, fresh fruit, what looks like croissants from an actual bakery. He's dressed casually in dark jeans and a gray t-shirt that clings to a body that's clearly no stranger to physical training. His hair is slightly damp, like he's recently showered, and the domestic normality of it all feels surreal. "I didn't know how you take your coffee," he says, setting the tray on the bedside table. "So I brought options." I stare at him, at this man who runs half of New York's underworld, who has people disappear with a phone call, who's currently offering me cream and sugar with the attentiveness of a concerned host. "Black is fine," I manage. "You didn't have to do this. I wanted to." He sits on the edge of the bed, and the mattress dips under his weight. The casual intimacy of it, him in my space, the early morning light, the shirt I'm wearing that's clearly his, makes my skin feel too tight. "How did you sleep?" "Better than I expected. It's true. I'd thought I'd lie awake all night agonizing over my decisions, but exhaustion had pulled me under almost immediately. Your guest bed is more comfortable than my actual bed. Good." His eyes track over my face, searching for something. "Marcus called 6 more times last night. I took the liberty of blocking his number on your phone. I hope that's all right. I should probably be upset about him taking such liberties. Instead, I feel relief. Thank you. My lawyers have already started drafting divorce papers. If you want to proceed, they'll be ready by end of day. It will be quick, quiet, and you'll be well compensated." The efficiency of it steals my breath. Less than 12 hours, and he's already dismantling my entire life with the casual competence of someone used to getting exactly what he wants. "Dante, I can't let you pay for my divorce. You're not letting me do anything. I'm offering." He reaches out and tucks a strand of hair behind my ear, the gesture already becoming familiar. "I take care of what's mine, Emma. And you're mine now." The possessiveness should alarm me, should send every red flag in my arsenal flying. But there's something intoxicating about being claimed so absolutely, about being someone's priority after years of being an afterthought. "I barely know you," I whisper, but it sounds weak even to my own ears. "Then get to know me." His hand cups my face, thumb stroking my cheekbone. "I'm not going anywhere, and neither are you, if I have any say in it." My phone, now on the nightstand, buzzes with a text. Dante glances at it, his expression darkening. It's from a number he doesn't have blocked. "Your sister." I grab it quickly, anxiety spiking. Lily's message is short and panicked. "And where are you?" "Marcus called me freaking out saying you left and won't answer. He sounds insane. Are you safe?" "Call me." "I should call her," I say. "She'll be worried." "Use the landline in the living room, more secure." Dante stands, giving me space. "Take your time. I need to make some calls anyway. We're going to your apartment at noon with my security team to collect your things." After he leaves, I wrap myself in a plush robe I find in the bathroom and pad out to the living room. The penthouse looks different in daylight. Still luxurious, but somehow more lived in. There are books stacked on tables, a laptop open on the desk, framed photographs I didn't notice last night. I pick up the landline and dial Lily's number. She answers on the first ring. Emma. Oh my God, where are you? Marcus called me at midnight saying you'd run off with some man, and I'm fine, Lily, I'm safe. Safe where? With who? Marcus said he saw you with someone in the village, and then you sent him some cryptic text about leaving. I'm leaving him. Saying it out loud makes it real. Marcus has been cheating on me. That open marriage request? He already had someone else. I saw them together yesterday. The silence on the other end stretches for 3 heartbeats. That absolute piece of shit. Lily's voice shakes with fury. I'm going to kill him. Where is he? I'm going to... Lily, breathe. I'm handling it. By running off with a stranger? I glance toward the hallway where I can hear Dante's voice, low and commanding, speaking in rapid Italian. He's not exactly a stranger. It's complicated. Emma. My sister's voice shifts from angry to concerned. Please tell me you're not with Dante Caruso. My silence is answer enough. Oh my God. Oh my God, Em, do you have any idea how dangerous? He's been nothing but kind to me. I interrupt. More kind than Marcus ever was. He's helping me, Lily. With the divorce, with everything. Helping you. She doesn't sound convinced. Emma, men like Dante Caruso don't help people out of the goodness of their hearts. What does he want in return? The question echoes my own fears. But I push them aside. He wants me. That's what I'm afraid of. Lily sighs heavily. Look, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You're an adult, but please, please be careful. These people, they're not like us. They play by different rules. Maybe I'm tired of the rules I've been playing by. My voice is stronger than I feel. Maybe I deserve something more. You do deserve more. I just don't want you to get hurt. Too late for that. Marcus already took care of the hurting part. I close my eyes against the sting of tears. Dante is just... He sees me, Lily, really sees me. When was the last time anyone did that? The silence that follows is heavy with things unsaid. Okay, she finally says. Okay. Just promise me you'll be smart about this. And call me. Every day. So I know you're all right. I promise. After we hang up, I stand there for a long moment, staring out at Central Park spread below like a green oasis in the concrete jungle. From up here, the whole world looks different. Smaller, more manageable. Everything all right? Dante's voice comes from behind me. I turn to find him leaning against the doorframe, watching me with those intense dark eyes that seem to see straight through every defense I've ever built. My sister thinks I'm making a mistake. Are you? He pushes off the doorframe and walks toward me with the predatory grace of a big cat, having second thoughts. I don't know what I'm having. Honest. Raw. This is all happening so fast. Yesterday morning I was in my kitchen burning toast and trying to process that my husband wanted permission to sleep with other people. Now I'm standing in a penthouse I could never afford, wearing your shirt, planning to divorce him with lawyers I've never met. If it's too much, we can slow down. But even as he says it, his hands find my waist, pulling me closer. Though I should warn you, I'm not particularly good at slow when I want something, and you want me. Desperately. The word is a caress and a confession. His forehead touches mine, and I can feel his breath warm against my lips. Tell me to stop, Emma. Tell me this is too much, too fast, and I'll step back. I'll still help you with the divorce, still give you space to figure out what you want, but you have to tell me now, because my self-control where you're concerned is hanging by a thread. I should tell him to stop. Should take that space he's offering and figure out my life without the complication of whatever this is between us. But I'm so tired of should. Don't stop, I whisper. The kiss is inevitable, explosive. His mouth claims mine like he's been starving for it, and maybe he has. Maybe we both have. His hands slide up my back, tangling in my hair, angling my head to deepen the kiss until I'm drowning in him, in the taste and feel and overwhelming presence of him. We stumble backward until my back hits the window, the glass cool against my shoulders even as heat floods through every nerve ending. Dante's body presses against mine, and I can feel the evidence of his desire, hard and insistent against my hip. Emma, he groans against my mouth. We should stop. I thought you said you weren't good at slow. I'm trying to be honorable. His lips trail down my jaw, my throat, finding the pulse point that makes me gasp. Trying to be the man you deserve instead of the man I am. And what kind of man are you? He pulls back just enough to look at me, and what I see in his eyes is dark and dangerous and absolutely devastating. The kind who takes what he wants and destroys anyone who tries to take it away. His thumb brushes across my bottom lip. The kind who's already imagining all the ways I'm going to make you mine. The kind who's selfish enough to want to lock you away in this penthouse where no one else can ever look at you, touch you, hurt you. I should be terrified. Every rational cell in my body is screaming warnings about possessive men and dangerous obsessions and the difference between protection and prison. But standing here in his arms, feeling desired for the first time in years, maybe for the first time ever with this intensity, I can't bring myself to care about rational. Then take what you want, I breathe. Something snaps in him. I see it in his eyes, feel it in the way his grip tightens on my waist. But instead of the consuming passion I'm expecting, he steps back, putting distance between us, his chest heaving with the effort of control. Not yet. His voice is rough, strained. Not until you're legally free of him. Not until there's no question that you're choosing this, choosing me with a clear head. He runs a hand through his hair, frustration evident in every line of his body. Go get dressed, Emma. We're leaving in 20 minutes to get your things. And I need you covered in something other than my shirt before I forget every good intention I've ever had. The black SUV pulls up to my Brooklyn apartment building at exactly noon, flanked by a second vehicle carrying additional security. In the harsh light of day, my building looks even shabbier than usual. Peeling paint, cracked concrete steps, graffiti on the lobby door that management has never bothered to clean. Dante's jaw tightens as he takes it all in. You've been living here. Not everyone has penthouses overlooking Central Park, I say defensively. You do now. It's not a suggestion. You're never coming back here after today. One of his security guards, the same one from the cafe yesterday whose name I've learned is Marco, opens my door. Dante emerges from his side and comes around to offer me his hand, helping me out like I'm something precious that might break. Stay close to me, he instructs. Marco and Vincent will handle the boxes. You just point to what's yours and what stays. We climb the 3 flights to my apartment. The elevator has been broken for 2 months, and my hands shake as I unlock the door. Part of me half expects Marcus to be there, to have to face him. But the apartment is empty and somehow smaller than I remembered. The furniture we picked out together suddenly looks cheap, temporary. The photos on the walls of us smiling feel like artifacts from someone else's life. Take what matters, Dante says quietly, his hand warm on the small of my back. Everything else can be replaced. Marco and Vincent move with military efficiency, following my directions without comment as I point out my clothes, my laptop, my art supplies. Dante stays close, a silent presence that somehow makes this easier. When I pause in front of my bedroom, he seems to sense my hesitation. I'll go in with you, he offers. The room looks untouched, bed made, Marcus's side table still cluttered with his things. My nightstand holds a photo of us from our wedding day. We look so young, so hopeful. I pick it up, studying the woman in the white dress who thought she knew what forever meant. Leave it, Dante says. That's not who you are anymore. He's right. I set the frame face down and turn away. I'm packing the last of my things from the bathroom when I hear the front door open. My blood runs cold. Marcus's voice carries down the hallway. Emma? You're actually here? We need to talk about this insanity. He stops dead when he rounds the corner and finds Dante standing in our living room. Marco and Vincent flanking him like sentries. The temperature in the room drops 10 degrees. Who the hell are you? Marcus demands. But his voice wavers. He's not stupid. He can see the security, the expensive suits, the air of barely controlled violence that surrounds Dante like an aura. I'm the man taking her away from you. Dante's voice is conversational, almost pleasant, but there's steel underneath. You must be the husband. This is my apartment. Not anymore. Dante pulls a document from his jacket pocket. My lawyers have already filed divorce papers on Emma's behalf. You'll be served officially within the hour. The apartment is yours. She doesn't want it. Her belongings are being removed as we speak. And if you ever contact her again, ever make her feel unsafe or uncomfortable or anything less than completely at peace. He steps closer to Marcus, who actually backs up. Well, let's just say that would be very unwise. Marcus's face flushes red. You can't just... Emma, what the hell is this? You leave me for this thug? I saw you with him yesterday. I knew something was... Don't. I emerge from the hallway, and my voice is steadier than I've ever heard it. Don't you dare try to make this about me leaving you. You left our marriage the moment you started sleeping with her. That blonde woman you were with yesterday. How long, Marcus? How long have you been cheating? His jaw works. That's not... Don't lie. Dante's voice cuts through Marcus's stammering. I had someone look into you last night. Jessica Hartwell, 24, works at your office. You've been seeing her for 8 months. The open marriage request wasn't about exploration. It was about getting retroactive permission for what you'd already been doing. Marcus goes pale. You investigated me? Who the fuck do you think you are? I'm the man who's going to make your life very difficult if you don't sign those divorce papers and walk away quietly. Dante's smile is all teeth. No warmth. I'm also the man who knows about the $15,000 you've been siphoning from your company's expense account. Interesting gambling problem you've developed. The blood drains from Marcus's face completely. How did you... I know everything worth knowing. Dante's voice drops lower, more dangerous. And I have evidence of all of it. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to sign the papers. You're going to give Emma an uncontested divorce with no demands, no drama, no attempts to claim any of her future assets. You're going to disappear from her life so completely that you'll barely remember being married. And in return, I won't hand over what I know about your embezzlement to your employers or the authorities. Do we have an understanding? Marcus looks at me, and I see something crumble in his expression. Emma, please, you can't. We can work this out. It's just a rough patch. No. The word comes out firm, final. We're done, Marcus. We've been done for a long time. I just didn't want to admit it. But where will you go? What will you... His eyes dart to Dante, understanding dawning. Oh my God. You're leaving me for him. You're actually... I'm leaving you for me. I interrupt. He's just the one who reminded me I deserve better. Dante's hand finds mine, fingers interlacing, the gesture both protective and possessive. Emma, are you done here? I look around the apartment one last time. At the life I thought I wanted. At the man I thought I loved. Yes, I'm done. Then let's go home. Home. Not his home or a temporary place to stay. Home. We leave Marcus standing in the ruins of our marriage, and I don't look back. The next 3 weeks pass in a blur of transformation that feels both surreal and inevitable. Dante's lawyers move with the efficiency of a well-oiled machine. Marcus signs the divorce papers without contest. Dante's threats had been convincing enough. And just like that, 3 years of marriage dissolve into paperwork and signatures. I should feel something more than relief. Should mourn the loss of what I thought we had, but mostly I just feel free. I move into Dante's penthouse officially. He offers me my own room, my own space, but after the first week I find myself gravitating to him like a planet to its sun, falling asleep on the couch while he works late, waking to find myself carried to bed with a gentleness that contradicts everything I thought I knew about dangerous men. The design project he offered me is real, comprehensive, and more challenging than anything I've worked on before. I spend my days sketching logos and room layouts, creating mood boards and color schemes, losing myself in work that actually matters. Dante reviews everything personally, his feedback intelligent and specific, treating my work with a respect Marcus never bothered to give, but it's the nights that undo me. We haven't slept together, not in the way my body increasingly craves. Dante holds to his word about waiting until I'm legally free, until there's no question of whether I'm choosing him or running from Marcus. But his restraint is visibly fraying. evident in the way his eyes track me across rooms, the way his hands linger when he touches me, the way he kisses me goodnight with a hunger that leaves us both breathless and aching. 3 weeks after I left my apartment, my phone rings with a call from Dante's lawyer. My divorce is final. I stare at the screen for a long moment, processing what this means. I'm no longer Emma Torres, I'm just Emma again, Emma Rossi, my maiden name restored, single, free, unbound. Dante finds me standing by the windows, watching the sun set over Central Park in shades of gold and crimson. He's been out all day handling business he never discusses in detail, but I've learned to read the tension in his shoulders, the tightness around his eyes that speaks of violence conducted somewhere beyond my sight. It's done, I tell him, holding up my phone. The divorce is final. Something dangerous flashes across his face. He crosses the space between us in 3 strides, his hands framing my face as he tilts my head up to meet his eyes. Say that again. I'm divorced. My voice catches. I'm not his anymore. No. His thumb traces my bottom lip. You're mine. The kiss is different this time. No more restraint, no more holding back. Dante kisses me like he's claiming every part of me, like he's been starving for 3 weeks and I'm finally his to consume. His hands slide down to my waist, lifting me easily, and my legs wrap around him instinctively as he carries me through the penthouse, not to the guest room I've been staying in, to his bedroom. The room is masculine and luxurious. Dark wood furniture, charcoal linens, floor-to-ceiling windows that overlook the glittering city. He sets me down beside the massive bed, his hands already working at the buttons of my shirt, with a dexterity that speaks of experience. Tell me you want this, he demands, his voice rough. Tell me you're choosing this, choosing me, with full knowledge of who and what I am. I reach up to cup his face, feeling the tension in his jaw, the barely leashed control. I know you're dangerous. I know you've done things that would terrify most people. I know your world operates by rules I don't fully understand. I pull him down until our foreheads touch. And I want you anyway. I choose you anyway. The last thread of his control snaps. Dante strips my clothes away with hands that shake slightly, his eyes drinking in every inch of revealed skin like I'm something sacred. When I reach for his shirt, he helps me, and the body underneath steals my breath, defined muscles marked with scars that speak of a violent life. A tattoo over his heart in Italian script I can't quite read. What does it say? I trace the letters with my fingertip. La familia è tutto. His hand covers mine. Family is everything. Before I can respond, he's lowering me to the bed, his body covering mine, and rational thought dissolves into sensation. His mouth traces paths across my skin, learning every curve and hollow, every place that makes me gasp. His hands worship me with a reverence that contradicts the possession in his eyes, and when he finally makes me his completely, it's with a tenderness that brings tears to my eyes. This is what it feels like to be cherished, to be desired, to matter to someone with an intensity that borders on obsession. Mine. Dante breathes against my throat as we move together. Say it, Emma. Say you're mine. Yours. I gasp, surrendering to the truth of it. I'm yours. The weeks that follow blur together in a haze of passion and discovery. I learn the rhythms of Dante's world, the late-night phone calls he takes in rapid Italian, the meetings with men whose names I don't need to know, the way security always shadows us whenever we leave the penthouse. I learn that his reputation isn't exaggerated, that he truly is as dangerous as people say, but that danger has never been directed at me. If anything, his protectiveness borders on excessive. He has Marco follow me when I meet Lily for coffee. He insists on knowing my schedule, my whereabouts, who I'm with. It should feel suffocating, but after years of being invisible to Marcus, there's something intoxicating about being someone's complete focus. You know you're not my prisoner, right? I tease one evening as we're getting ready for dinner at an exclusive restaurant he's arranged. I can leave the penthouse without an armed escort. Dante's hand still on his tie, his expression serious as he meets my eyes in the mirror. You could, but you won't, because you understand that being with me makes you a target. He turns to face me fully. There are people who would hurt you to hurt me, Emma. People who would see you as leverage, as a weakness to exploit. Marco isn't there to control you. He's there to keep you safe. The honesty is sobering. I knew in abstract that his world was dangerous, but hearing it stated so plainly makes it real. Does that scare you? He asks, watching my reaction carefully. Sometimes, I admit. But not enough to leave. Something softens in his expression. He crosses to where I'm sitting and pulls me to my feet, his hands settling on my hips. I would never force you to stay. If I become too much, you can walk away. I'll make sure you're safe, set up somewhere secure with enough money that you'll never need anything. But Emma, his voice drops lower. It would destroy me to let you go. I reach up to touch his face, feeling the tension there. Then it's a good thing I'm not going anywhere. The dinner is at a restaurant where Dante is clearly known and feared in equal measure. We're shown to a private room, and the meal is exquisite, course after course of perfection that I barely taste because I'm too aware of the way Dante watches me. The way his hand finds mine across the table. The promise in his eyes of what will happen when we return to the penthouse. We're finishing dessert when a man approaches our table despite the clear presence of security. He's older, maybe 50, with the kind of expensive suit that whispers old money and the predatory eyes of someone used to getting what he wants. Dante Caruso, the man says, his tone jovial, but with an edge underneath. I heard you'd taken a wife, wanted to come pay my respects. Dante's expression doesn't change, but I feel him tense beside me. Antonio. This is a private dinner. Of course. Antonio's eyes slide to me, assessing. She's beautiful. Unusual choice, though. I heard you've always preferred more experienced women. The insult is subtle, but unmistakable. My cheeks flush. But before I can respond, Dante's hand tightens on mine. A warning to stay quiet. Emma is my fiancée, Dante says, his voice deadly calm. And you will speak of her with respect or not at all. Fiancé. The word hangs in the air. We've never discussed marriage, but Dante says it with such casual certainty that Antonio takes a step back. My apologies. No offense intended, but his smile suggests otherwise. I'll leave you to your evening. But Dante, we should talk soon. About the territories. There's nothing to discuss. The territories are settled. Are they? Antonio's smile sharpens. Word is you've been distracted lately? Might be time for some of us old guard to remind you how things work. The temperature in the room drops. Marco materializes at Dante's shoulder, and two other guards I hadn't noticed move to flank Antonio. The only thing that needs reminding, Dante says, standing slowly, is what happens to people who threaten what's mine. I suggest you leave now, Antonio. While you still can. Antonio's jovial mask cracks, revealing the calculating predator underneath. But he's smart enough to recognize when he's outmatched. With a curt nod, he leaves, his expensive shoes clicking against marble with each retreating step. Dante doesn't sit back down. We're leaving. Now. What was that about? I ask as Marco ushers us out through a back entrance. Nothing for you to worry about. But the tightness in his jaw suggests otherwise. The ride back to the penthouse is tense, silent. Dante makes 3 phone calls in rapid Italian, his voice clipped and authoritative. When we arrive, he's out of the car before it fully stops, barking orders at security I don't understand. I follow him into the penthouse, my concern growing. Dante, talk to me. What's happening? He rounds on me, and for the first time, I see real fear in his eyes. Antonio Rossi. He runs operations in Brooklyn and Queens. We've had an uneasy truce for years, but he's been looking for an excuse to expand into my territories. And now? He runs a hand through his hair. Now he knows you exist, knows you matter to me. Understanding dawns cold and terrible. You think he'll come after me. I know he will. Dante crosses to me, taking my shoulders. This is what I was afraid of, Emma. This is why I tried to wait, tried to give you time to understand what being with me means. But I was selfish. I wanted you too much to let you go. And now you're in danger because of me. Then protect me. I place my hands over his. Isn't that what you've been doing all along? Isn't that what you promised? It's not enough. His voice cracks. What if something happens? What if I can't? I kiss him. silencing the spiral of fear. When I pull back, his eyes are dark with emotion. You want to protect me? Then teach me how to protect myself. Let me be part of this instead of some fragile thing you have to shelter. I hold his gaze. I'm stronger than you think, Dante. Strong enough to stand beside you, not just behind you. Something shifts in his expression. Surprise, respect, and that familiar possessive hunger. You're remarkable, do you know that? I'm learning. I smile. You're a good teacher. The next month is a crash course in Dante's world. He teaches me to shoot at a private range, his hands steadying mine as I learn to handle a weapon I never thought I'd need. He introduces me to his inner circle, men whose loyalty to him is absolute, and whose respect I earn slowly through actions rather than words. He shows me the legitimate businesses that front his operations, the charities he supports, the complex web of power and influence he's built. And I learn that being Dante Caruso's woman means being both protected and tested, sheltered and challenged, cherished and claimed with an intensity that would suffocate someone weaker. But I'm not weak anymore. The threat from Antonio Rossi escalates gradually. First, its attempted incursions into Dante's territories shut down before they can take root. Then, its subtle threats, messages passed through intermediaries, pressure applied to shared business interests. Dante handles each challenge with cold efficiency, but the tension takes its toll. It comes to a head on a Saturday night, 2 months after my divorce is finalized. We're at the penthouse. Dante in his office handling business. Me in the living room working on final designs for the hotel project. Marco is on duty, as always, and there are 2 additional guards in the building. I don't hear the initial breach. Don't know anything is wrong until Marco appears in the doorway, his expression grim. Mrs. Caruso, he uses the name even though we're not married yet, a formality Dante's people have adopted. You need to come with me. Now. The urgency in his tone makes my blood run cold. What's happening? We have a situation. Dante's orders are to get you to the safe room immediately. A safe room. I didn't even know there was a safe room. Marco leads me quickly down a hallway I thought ended in a closet. He presses his palm against what looks like a regular wall panel, and a section swings open, revealing a reinforced steel door with a biometric lock. He uses his thumb, and it opens into a small room lined with monitors, supplies, and what I recognize with a chill as weapons. Stay here, Marco instructs. Don't open this door for anyone but me or Dante. There's a phone on the desk. Red button is direct to Dante, understand? Marco, what's happening? Antonio Rossi is making his move. It's going to get loud, but you're safe here. Trust me. He closes the door, and I hear the locks engage with a series of heavy clicks. The monitors show various angles of the penthouse and the building. I watch as men I don't recognize enter through what must be service entrances, moving with military precision, armed, dangerous, and outnumbered, because Dante's security is everywhere, appearing from positions I didn't know existed. What follows is brutal and efficient. A firefight in the hallways, in the stairwells, nowhere near my safe room but terrifying all the same. I grab the phone with shaking hands and press the red button. Dante answers on the first ring. Emma, are you safe? I'm in the safe room. Marco brought me here. Dante, what's... I know. Stay there. Don't leave until I come for you myself. Gunfire echoes in the background of his call. I love you, Emma. Do you hear me? I love you. He's never said those words before. The fact that he's saying them now, with violence erupting around him, makes my chest constrict with fear. I love you too, I manage. Be safe, please. The line goes dead. The wait is endless. I watch the monitors as Dante's men systematically eliminate the threat, as bodies fall and are dragged away, as the pristine penthouse becomes a war zone. I see glimpses of Dante himself, moving with lethal grace, his weapon an extension of his body, protecting his territory with the cold efficiency of someone who's done this before. Finally, silence. The monitors show Dante's men securing the perimeter, checking bodies, resetting defenses, and then Dante himself appears at the safe room door, his knuckles bleeding, his shirt torn, his eyes wild until they find me on the monitor. The locks disengage. The door opens. Emma. He's across the room in 2 strides, pulling me into his arms with a desperation that steals my breath. You're all right. You're safe. What about Antonio? My voice is muffled against his chest. Being handled. The coldness in his tone tells me everything I need to know. He made the mistake of threatening what's mine. That mistake will be his last. I should be horrified, should be traumatized by the violence I just witnessed on the monitors. Instead, I just hold him tighter, grateful that he's alive, that we're both alive. Marry me, Dante says suddenly. I pull back to look at him. What? Marry me, Emma. Not because I'm trying to trap you or possess you or any of the things you might be thinking. His hands cut my face. Marry me because I love you. Because I want the world to know you're mine and I'm yours. Because I want to build a life with you. A real life. Not just this half-existence of threats and fear. A real life? I laugh shakily. Dante, I just watched your penthouse turn into a battlefield. And it will never happen again. His voice is steel. After tonight, everyone will know that touching you means death. No one will be stupid enough to try. He kisses me softly, tenderly. Say yes, Emma. Choose me. Choose this life. Choose us. I promise I'll spend every day making you happy you did. I think about the woman I was 3 months ago. Invisible, diminished, accepting crumbs of affection from a man who didn't value her. I think about Marcus and his casual cruelty, his easy dismissal. And I think about Dante, dangerous and possessive and absolutely devoted, who sees me, values me, protects me with a ferocity that borders on obsession, who makes me feel alive in ways I never knew possible. The choice isn't difficult. Yes, I breathe. Yes, I'll marry you. 6 months later, the wedding is small, private, held at Dante's estate upstate, with only his closest associates and my sister in attendance. Lily cried through the entire ceremony. Happy tears, she insisted, even though I know she still worries about the world I've chosen. But she can see what I've found here, what I've become. I'm no longer the invisible girl who burned toast in a tiny Brooklyn apartment. I'm Emma Caruso, wife of one of the most powerful men on the East Coast, designer with a growing reputation, woman who's learned to stand tall in rooms full of dangerous men. The hotel project I designed launches to critical acclaim. Dante's company acquires 2 more chains, and suddenly I have more work than I can handle. I hire assistants, rent office space in one of Dante's buildings, build something that's entirely mine. But the best moments are still the quiet ones. Mornings in our bed while the city wakes below. Evenings on the terrace with wine and conversation. Nights when Dante holds me like I'm his entire world, because I am. Just as he's become mine. What are you thinking about? Dante asks, coming up behind me where I stand at the window of our bedroom. His arms wrap around my waist, pulling me back against his chest. How different my life is now, I admit. How different I am. Regrets? Not one. I turn in his arms to face him. You saved me, you know, from a life where I was slowly disappearing. No, amore. He brushes a strand of hair from my face. You saved yourself. I just reminded you that you were worth saving. I kiss him, pouring 3 months of gratitude and love and absolute certainty into it. When we break apart, he's smiling. That rare, genuine smile that transforms his dangerous face into something beautiful. I have something for you, he says, reaching into his pocket. He produces a small box, not a ring box this time, but something else. Inside is a key, ornate and old-fashioned. What's this? The estate in Tuscany I told you about, the one my grandmother left me. His eyes are warm. I want us to spend next summer there. Just us. No business, no threats, no world to worry about. I want to show you where I came from, where my family built what we have now. A whole summer? I laugh. What about your empire? My empire can survive without me for a few months. He pulls me closer. Besides, I've been thinking it's time to step back slightly. Let my underbosses handle more, spend more time with my wife. His hand drifts to my stomach, and his smile turns knowing. Especially since in about 7 months, we're going to need to make room for someone else. The world tilts. How did you... I just found out this morning. I was going to tell you tonight. I always know, Emma. He kisses me softly. I know everything about you. Every thought, every dream, every fear. His hand splays protectively over my stomach. And now every life we create together. Tears sting my eyes. Happy tears this time. You're going to be a father. And you're going to be an extraordinary mother. His voice is thick with emotion. Our daughter, what makes you think it's a girl? Just a feeling. He grins. And I'm usually right about these things. I laugh, letting him hold me as the sun sets over our city, painting everything in shades of gold. Somewhere below, the world continues its chaos, threats and violence and all the darkness that comes with a life Dante leads. But here, in this moment, there's only light, only love, only the absolute certainty that I made the right choice, not just in leaving Marcus, but in choosing to be seen, in choosing to matter, in choosing a dangerous man with gentle hands who taught me that being possessed and protected isn't the same as being imprisoned. It's being cherished. I love you. I whisper against his chest. I love you more. He tilts my face up to his, my Emma, my wife, my everything. And in his eyes I see my reflection. No longer invisible, no longer diminished, just whole. Finally, completely, devastatingly whole.